Hi, Gemini. Welcome to your, what do we got here? Your meeting, the harsh truth reading, where we take a look at a romantic love situation, although sometimes it resonates otherwise for you, and try to offer some clarity or just a second set of eyes, maybe confirmation at what you already suspect or know. You're just having trouble accepting it or admitting it, or just maybe a different perspective out of the blue. I don't shuffle on camera because it messes with the sound and the cloth. This is a general reading. Well, I do shuffle off camera. When I come on camera, I just do this. It's a general reading. It does get specific. If it starts off resonating and then doesn't, take what resonates, leave the rest. And it's not going to resonate for everybody. Sometimes I end up reading for your love interest, or it applies to your love interest. Sometimes it's just a miss. So take what resonates, leave the rest. And I think that's everything. Check your moon, rising, and Venus for a more well-rounded picture. I think that's everything. There it is. Two of Wands reversed. So there might be some frustration with the lack of movement or planning. And there could also be like, oh gosh, what's going to happen now? Like you're in a state of limbo, wondering what the heck's going to happen now. You see all that? Oh, and now we're crooked. Really? Right, I'm going for it. Sorry. Jeez Louise, can we get it together here? Nope, that way. All right, fair enough. This, I think there's something that was done that you want to stay hidden or not known. Like you did something where you feel kind of silly or stupid or sheepish about it, and you don't want it to come to light. I don't think you want this breakup. You don't want this. You don't want this breakup, but the reality is, according to this, the reality is that there is sort of a waning, or the feelings that were once there have shifted, and there could just be at best blocked emotions. Somebody might be upset and they're just kind of got their mat on and they're taking, a breather. It could also be that somebody is really kind of petty and fickle and immature, and that's all that they're capable of right now. You want a happy home and to feel fulfilled with this person. You don't want them to... part of me feels like you don't want them to either move on, or you don't want them to be better off without you. You don't want them to be able to do all the things that... you don't want them to move on and be better without you. And to have like an excellent command of their future and skills and security and everything. You don't want that. On the other hand, you also don't want to feel like that you're being manipulated. There's some kind of mental hold that this person might have on you. You're gonna have difficulty letting go of them right now, just for right now. But this feels like it was a pretty significant connection for you, even maybe past life or karmic or soulmate. This could be somebody from your past. You might be feeling a little stuck at first. All right, so let's clarify. This could be your Pisces or a Pisces. This could be... what is that? I never know what hangman is. Is that Gemini? Let me check here. I never know what that is. The hanged man. I don't have one for the hanged man. Okay, well that makes sense as to why I didn't know what it was and never was one. This feels like it could be a Sag though. Just the energy, that calm, mellow, low-key energy. Not low vibration. There's a difference. Low-key meaning just feel. Could be Pisces. So we've got... So there's some confusion and anxiety and worry here, and not wanting to let things lie or take the time needed, not wanting to compromise, not wanting to accept the delays or the timeout. Like you're wanting to rush it. It's causing you a lot of anxiety, sort of this timeout or this things being on ice. And I think there's a lack of confidence. I think it's really kind of doing a number on your head. There's a lot of insecurity here, or just feeling like really unsure about the future, and that's probably echoing this. You don't want to break up with this person. You don't want them to be cheating on you. You don't want them to be using you. You don't want this to be the end. You don't want to feel backstabbed. You don't want them to have done something to where you can't negate it anymore, and you're like, you can't not know what you know, and at some point it becomes about self-respect. You don't want it to get to that point. That's what you're worried about here. The truth is, though, according to this, that this is a toxic attachment or a relationship. There is probably other people. There are probably other people involved. Um, it, okay, this just flew in there. These are suited, and the thing that came out of that when I realized that was this is somebody that you know. So whoever you are attached to or this love interest, they're most likely two things. There's probably a third party situation, and it will be somebody that you know that you consider a friend. This could be male or female. The energy's intertwined here, but this is at this point it's gotten unhealthy because I feel like it's time to take a time out or time away from the relationship, and it's still there. You're still hanging on, and the more the other person is emotionally unavailable, the more it kind of is making you crazy and making you kind of want to attach more and like pursue them more, even though it doesn't make sense. But it's gotten to the point where it's unhealthy, and it could be because you feel like there's such a strong connection or bond, like it's just really hard to quit this person. Might speak to a past life connection or like a one of your soulmates, that show up in your life. You want this happy home with this person. You want them to choose you. You want to be the one, and you want them to do the right thing. You want it to be the right decision to be with this person, and you want them to do the right thing. You don't want to feel manipulated by them. You certainly don't want them to go on and be able to be better without you. You want to be a part of that. You want to be with them during that. You don't want them to just have this dynamic, wonderful life without you, because you want to be a part of it. Not because you're a horrible person and you wish bad things for them, not me and nobody else. No, you just would like to be a part of it. Because I think you really admire and respect this person. I think you really look up to this person. And I think that might be this could be Capricorn also. But I think that's part of it, is like when we have such a infatuation and lust for somebody, it's and some attachments are stronger than others, but this, I think there's a real admiration for this person, and it kind of compromises not your judgment, but just like, you just think so highly of this person. I think their approval and their acceptance of you and their love for you means a lot to you. Maybe a lot more than, say, your last relationship or a couple relationships ago or whatever. But it speaks to maybe being willing to put up with or endure more or give more because of that. There's just something about this person that you really feel, well, it's that attachment, that bond, that soulmate, karmic, past life bond, isn't it? That's what it is. So anyway, you don't want to feel manipulated. It's like you're willing to work hard, but you don't want to feel manipulated. You don't want, and you certainly don't want this relationship to end. You don't want it to be to the point where you just can't bear it anymore and it has to end. You don't want to feel manipulated. And it almost feels like some of you might feel like you're having to work increasingly harder for that attention and that adoration and that just consideration from them. Your fear is that they're going to go off and just have this really great, full, accomplished life for a while without you after the relationship ends. And you're going to have a hard time for a little bit letting go. You're going to feel like it was just it's going to be really discouraging for you. You're going to feel like you're just going to be down on love for a while, and you're going to feel like the wrong thing was done. It was a bad call. This shouldn't happen. You're going to want that second chance. And I think over time you will see, that this was getting kind of unhealthy, that this person was just way too important to you for right now. This isn't forever. This is just for right now. But for the last 2 weeks, or at least, this is not the time to be with this person. And an unhealthy attachment is starting to take hold. Just be aware of that you are way more into this person than you should be for somebody that's not giving you a whole heck of a lot of attention. I don't think they want to be this serious with you. I think they still want to date. I don't think they're cheating on you so much as they just don't. I mean, maybe they are. They could be for some of you. But I think for some of you, it could be that you just want exclusivity with them and they don't want that. And maybe they just don't tell you about it because they know that, it's just weird to be like, oh yeah, I hooked up with so-and-so the other night, or, oh, I'm dating this person also. I don't think people do that in polite conversation, but maybe they know that it would just stress you out, but you do know that they're dating. It's just one of those things you don't talk about because then it makes you feel weird, and then it makes whatever time you have together weird. But I think that there once was a love there. or a budding interest, and it's no longer there for the other person, at least. Like, it's just things have changed. I think that maybe you have been the only one that's kind of been into the relationship or the idea of it. I don't know that the other person was. Spiritual connection. This relationship has a connection that goes beyond this lifetime. Well, that's what this is, isn't it? That's probably why it's so hard for you to let go and to put this into perspective, because you feel so connected and so bonded to this person because of that. That's when that kind of thing shows up in your life, it is such a trip, because there's really no logic to explain it. You really have a hard time explaining it to other people, and you're like, I don't know why, I just can't shake this. They're on mine, they're thoughts. I shouldn't, or you just have a hard time like understanding, well, why can't it work out? How can I feel this attached and attracted and bonded to somebody and it's not good? Well, like, what kind of a sick joke is that? Ooh, breaking free. Okay. This is about, sometimes it's about breaking free. Sometimes it's about chasing a dream. And some people find the daily routine very comforting. Other people find it like just absolutely like soul sucking, and they need to break out and break free. Really claustrophobic. Sometimes, okay, so when I look, this might be you going against the grain and not listening to your friends or other people, maybe for the advice that they're giving, as far as, think about this. What are you doing? Slow your roll. This might not be the best idea right now. Like, it's almost like they might see it and you don't. Then again, if you kind of have a feeling of what they're going to say, there might be, by and large, the majority of them you haven't said anything to because you just don't want to hear it. You're on a mission at this point. And if it doesn't work out, you're going to have a really hard time letting go of it anyway for a while. This, to me, seems like it doesn't really make much sense to be doing this, and you're not afraid, but you're thinking that other people might think that, and so you're just going it alone, and you are going to do what you're going to do. This is you pursuing, even though it's this mess right here, the shock on their faces, and this, the broken glass and just the mess that's being made. There's another way to do it, but I think you're just going for it. You're not going to wait around for that. You're going for it. Receive healing. I think that's because of this. Because I think sometimes when like you find out somebody's, okay, like say you're with somebody, you're going to break up with them. It just wasn't working out. You were trying to find the right time to tell them, whatever. And then all of a sudden you found out that they were cheating on you, or that they didn't really care either way. Sometimes that does a number on people. Like I had one friend one time where she, it was just, they both knew it was dying, this and that. Well, he had already started dating somebody else, and that just threw her for such a loop. And all of a sudden she wanted to make it work out, and we got to try again, and this and that. And I think it was just because of that feeling left, or that like you didn't matter. I don't know. It was just really hard for her. And I think part of that might be with this. It's already gone to maybe feeling like it's not the best attachment or the best for you, because it's not really there for them. It only is for you. And you're just kind of feeling lost, and you really want the right thing to be done. But so we got the Lover's card here, the big choice. And then we got this, not bad choice, but a choice that didn't work out in your favor, and you think it's a bad call, and you're probably going to be really broken up about it. And you just need to take a time out and heal. I think this is kind of doing a doozy on you. I think you're way more into this than the other person is, and you're doing all the work mentally and emotionally as well. And I feel like you need to take some time for yourself and just heal. It doesn't seem like they really care either way. That's hard, All right, Gemini. That's what I have for you. I'm sorry. I hope, and remember, this is only for, it's mid-September. So, got another one coming in 2 weeks. Hopefully it'll be better. This is not a life sentence by any means. It's just going through the motions and trying to figure something out, and having an incredible attachment to somebody and trying to figure out how to deal with that, especially if it's not reciprocated. All right, so Gemini, that is what I have for you. I hope it was helpful, and I hope to see you the next reading. All right, take care.